We will be free! For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order!
Boom, chaka, chaka, chaka. Okay. Monday the 26th. Monday the 26th. All right. Are you ready, Mr. Seebeck?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. And for everyone who's watching, I got this on my lap because I'm going ultra modern and doing my Kindle version of the new version because I was lazy and don't want to go upstairs. Okay. Ooh. Interesting. I'm not going to curse you by saying you'll know this.
Good.
A motion to go into executive session,
Yes.
A, is a question of privilege of the assembly. B, yields to a question of personal privilege. C, requires a 2/3 vote. B, is undebatable.
Okay, give me those options again.
Okay, you don't need the first part.
Moving into
Our
executive
audience
session.
might. A motion to go into executive session, colon.
Painful inflammation in the colon.
A, is a question of privilege of the assembly. B, yields to a question of personal privilege. C, requires a 2/3 vote. Or D, is undebatable.
I don't think it's D because I'm pretty sure it's debatable. 2/3 I'm pretty sure is what the majority is. That's C. What was B again?
Yields to a question of personal privilege. This is kind of a shitty question. I only know the answer because I've been studying, but there's several in here I could argue are right.
Hold on. Give me B. Okay, B yields to
a question of personal privilege.
And A
is a question of privilege of the assembly.
A, it can be if you're talking about the assembly going to an executive session, but that's not always the case.
I'm not trying to tell you what's right or wrong, but in these questions, assembly don't view that like as the convention. They'll view a board or a committee as an assembly in these questions. Just letting you know, I figured that out because it's similar on my practice quiz questions.
Oh. Well, I'm pretty sure C is correct because I'm pretty sure it does require a 2/3. I'm going to go with that, but I'm not positive about it.
Okay. It's A.
A, which was
is a question of privilege of the assembly.
What's
it is just a majority vote. So I knew it wasn't C, and you're correct. It's debatable. Where I could argue B was right too, because nearly everything yields to a question of personal privilege.
That's what I thought. Yeah, but it seemed too obvious.
Yeah, I don't like this question. If you had guessed B, I would have given it to you because I think that is right, but A is more right. So,
okay, so where are we going?
We are going on your book to pages 227. There's several things. We got page 227, 22 through 23.
Let's start there.
Okay. And I'm going to have to find it in the PDF here, which might be a little hard. If you can let me know what chapter, I guess that is.
Can we give me the numbers again the first time?
Page 227.
Right.
Lines 22 through 23. What section is that under?
Section 19, to raise a question of privilege.
Oh, right here. I found it. All right. So where I'm starting from, let me just go back a page here. Types of questions of privileges. So it says there's two types, those relating to privileges of the assembly, which it's saying this is, or personal privilege.
Okay.
If the two, maybe we were wrong about B. If the two come into competition, privileges of the assembly take precedence. So I was wrong about B being right.
So to them, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one.
Right.
to misquote Mr. Spock.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Okay, that doesn't make sense to me, but okay. All right, so questions of the privileges of the assembly may relate to its organization or existence, to the comfort of its members with respect to heating, ventilation, blah, 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 to punishment of its members, ooh la la.
Punish me, Daddy. Oh, I never want to say that again. Fuck.
Or to the accuracy of reports. So, a motion to go into executive session, and I've got a little footnote number 9 there on mine, which we'll take a look at. Do you have a footnote on yours on that page?
Same one.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, a motion to go into executive session is a question of privilege of the assembly. So let's go to that footnote.
A footnote or a section reference?
Oh, it's a section reference. Never mind. I thought it was a footnote.
Yeah.
So it talks about particular types. So it's going to section 9, which is probably page 95 in your book, because on the back of the sheet here, it's also referencing 95.
80 for me, it starts on page 89, but
okay, and in the new book, it's section it's chapter 9, verse 24. An executive session in general parliamentary usage has come to mean any meeting of a deliberative assembly or portion in which the proceedings are secret. The term originally referred to the consideration of executive business. I don't think we need to go to the rest. We could talk more about the modern practice, and since we're kind of LP oriented.
It's a secret.
Shut up.
I love Star Child because I now follow his practice because I don't like executive session. I think it should be very, very rare. So what I do in my minutes and in my words, and I use those words so I can justify putting them in the minutes, is I call it secret session. I will not call it executive session. I want people to be very aware of what they're doing.
Use your words. Don't forget to use your words. Sorry.
But it's secret session. That's what I call it. It annoys the fuck out of some people, and I care, right? And I used to get these questions wrong because we handle it really differently in the LP. Like we can't take votes in executive session in the LP. And I thought that was a Roberts thing. It's not. You can take votes in executive session under Roberts and never tell the members what your vote was.
Mm-hmm. Which is one of the reasons why we don't do it in the LP.
If I told you that, I'd have to kill you.
Okay, seriously.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Like, how could anyone put up with that? I would freak the hell out. So in the LP, at least nationally, I don't know how certain state parties handle it. In the LP, we can have all of our debate and executive session, but the actual vote on the debate has to be an open session.
That's the way it was in California. I don't know how we're doing in Colorado because I haven't seen it happen here yet.
And in the LP, let me see here. I'm trying to make sure. I think this is just the LP here. Right. In the LP, we're not allowed to take notes in executive session, and we're not allowed to have any recordings in executive session, and we don't take any minutes of executive session. In Roberts, you do. You have executive session minutes, which are also secret. But you get into an inception again. It's like us with the delegates. How can you approve delegates when you don't have delegates yet? Right. So how do you approve executive session minutes when they have to be secret? So you have to go into executive session to approve the executive session minutes, but then there's minutes from that executive session.
Yeah, you see it. Yeah.
So there's a rule on that.
And this circle just goes on and on.
Problem.
Right. So the rule is you have a brief executive session just to approve the minutes, and it's assumed that the executive sessions from the approval executive session are self-approving. That's the way they handle it. You go on to read it. It's bizarre. I just had parts of that.
Obviously, we have a case of some parliamentarians who've never had a security clearance to understand how to work with this stuff in a
it's
constructive manner.
So before we close, though,
was
I
there
want
more
to
to this
give you
citation?
that was it.
That was it. Okay.
That's it. So I'm up to. Here's where also. Listen, I don't want to criticize the National Association of Parliamentarians, but I'm going to because they've been messing some things up. Oh, and by the way, they hate being called NAP. I got corrected at my local parliamentary meeting that you don't call them NAP and you don't call the Colorado Association of Parliamentarians CAP. So guess what I do? I call them NAP and CAP because I'm a libertarian. Wants to tell me I can't do something. That's what I want to do. Plus NAP, libertarian. You don't tell a libertarian they can't say NAP.
It's the acronym, for God's sakes.
So I'm on part 1, as you know, of the NAP exam, and has 8 modules in it.
Mm-hmm.
I just went through 7 because I got this email that said, we're about to close out all of the exams on the new test that are based on the 11th. You better finish it now before noon on Friday.
I think you posted something on that on Facebook.
I did, because I'm like, this is the new test. None of it is supposed to be based on the 11th. What you talking about, Willis? Because I haven't been studying the 11th at all, and all of the practice quizzes are on the 12th. So what the hell are you talking about? And it panicked me. The way it was written made it seem like you were going to lose everything if you didn't finish. And it turned out that's not the case. But I was rushing to finish. But when I went to section 8, and I'm reading the what will be tested, all of a sudden, all of the examples are from the 11th. And the 8th module is where you got to go look things up and give them page numbers. So it matters. It's totally different. And I'm like, I don't want to put down the wrong answers. Do I put down the 12th or do I put down the 11th? And then when you go to the practice questions, they're all in the 12th. The instructions are in the 11th. And I said, I'm waiting. So allegedly over this weekend, they're doing whatever update. They use this program called Schoology to do it online. So it's down.
Wait, they call it what?
It's a program they use that's a company called Schoology.
Oh, for me, I thought you said Screwology, which would make sense.
No, Schoology. So it's down all weekend. When it comes back up, hopefully the practice questions and the what will be tested will be consistent. And then I'll take the 8th, because that's an open book portion.
You better be. Otherwise, how are you going to look it up? Yeah,
you have to look it up and give page numbers. It's that old. But it's not like the test where it was. The old test was like our Sunday readings, where they give you a reading and you have to find the page number it's on, which is like, to me, it's just dumb. Now they ask you a question and you have to tell them what page number you figured out the answer from. And there's multiple right answers. As long as you found a page where you were able to come up with the answer, you're right, rather than the exact quote, which is dumb to me. They probably did that because it's on Kindle now.
Do they give you choices, or do you have to go find it and write it down?
Well, it's a multiple choice question of not of page numbers, just of what's the right answer, and you have to put down your ABCD or whatever. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm assuming it's ABCD. And then there's a second part that has to say what page number you used to find that answer, to make sure that you know how to look stuff up. Even if you knew the answer off the top of your head, you have to know where it is in the book or be able to find it.
That sounds like something you would see in junior high school.
Well, there's a reason. And it's because if you're in you're serving as a professional and the chair you might know the answer, but the chair might go, I don't think that's right. Can you show me? They want to make sure you can back yourself up.
That's what indexes are for.
But I think they don't do the exact quote thing anymore because the Kindle version's out, and that would be so easy. You just type in the phrase and boop, there it is. So they want you to actually have to look things up.
Which is probably why they come up with a searchable PDF version to go with the Kindle version. Because again, it would be too easy.
Well, there's programs you can get.
Parliamentarians.
There's a program you can get that'll convert the Kindle ebook into a PDF. There's third-party programs that'll do that, but I just haven't bothered. So that's what I'm up to. The first 7 sections, the 7th one actually was the hardest for me, and you wouldn't think it would be because it was, I think it was on bylaws. Was it on bylaws? It was just some weird questions that I just started drawing a blank. Like I thought it would be the easiest and it was the hardest. And the one that I thought I almost didn't pass, I got a perfect score on. The one I did the worst on was section 1 because I think I was nervous. I think I got 36 out of 40 on that. And
what have I gotten myself into? Yeah, that's still 90%.
Yeah, well, you can only get 34. You have to get at least 34 out of 40. Well, each one's a little different, but it's about that. And on section 7, I got 37 out of 40. So that was my second worst. And all the other ones, I either got 38, 39, or 40. So
you're averaging in the 90s, no problem.
Yeah. I haven't had to retake any, which is because they give you 3 tries at each section.
Yeah. This
but
certification I'm working on towards work, I've got to get, I think it's an 80% to pass.
Yeah.
But I also can retake it if I need to, but that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So and that's something I've been trying to get in for 5 years. So, you know,
I'm looking forward to passing this because I actually am planning on working as a parliamentarian. As a side gig, because I've been looking for a side gig because today everyone needs income streams, you know, and if something happens with my job or, you know me, I have my health issues. If I can't work full time, you know, I want to have another skill.
Get your nose too.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. My walker. Okay.
That's a good combination for the group.
I don't have your clapper. I need to buy a clapper. Clap on. What?
What'd you do with your thingamajigger?
It didn't come with one. I bought this on eBay. Oh, I have that. Yeah, but I didn't need to sync. Yeah.
Tap it on there.
Hold on. Oh, you're talking about my director thing.
Yeah.
Most people haven't seen this because it's between cuts. So yes, we're adjourned. General Robert.
Hit the gavel.
I know, but I like this better.
Favor! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.